All right, what's up, guys? Logic Over Emotion coming at you with another one. Now, on this one, we want to talk about the body cam footage of George Floyd that was recently leaked by the Daily Mail. So let's go ahead and dive right into that. All right, guys, so I would like to preface this video, right, by remembering the whole reason that America is in the state that it is in today is because of George Floyd's death. The way America has been torn apart, all these protests, all the negativity, all of the sports, social platforms, everything, video games, incorporating Black Lives Matter into it. The movement really got momentum off of this. So let's just remember that, okay? Now, what this video is actually going to be about is not specifically the body cam footage, because you can watch that, go online, find it, watch it, come to your own conclusions, because that's what this is about, thinking individually. What I actually want to cover is how Fox News covered the body cam footage and how CNN covered the body cam footage. Now, if you were to go on YouTube, look at the CNN, the 4-minute video, you will clearly see in the like-dislike ratio what people think about the way they covered it, okay? Now, Fox News, I felt like incorporated all of the important parts. And you'll see what they chose to include that CNN didn't in their evaluation of the clip. And you can understand that CNN was still trying to push a woke narrative, right? So CNN, what did they leave out that was so important? I think the one thing that they left out that was so important was that George Floyd, prior to the officer kneeling on his neck, prior to that, George Floyd was already having respiratory issues. He was already stating he couldn't breathe. He was already stating, that he was going to die. Obviously, he had a ton of fentanyl in his system, which can cause stress on the respiratory system. It can cause, that system to fail. And so that would defeat the narrative that the police is 100% responsible for his death by kneeling. Now, I will say, I still don't believe you need to kneel on someone's neck that long. But what people have to understand is that it wasn't the choice of the cops to even put him on the ground in the first place. They gave extreme effort trying to get George Floyd into the back of the police car. Extreme force. George Floyd didn't want to go in there. They told him, hey, calm down, you're going to have a heart attack. He was the one that wanted to lay on the ground, okay? And so I think that's a very important piece that CNN chose to leave out, because, again, it goes against the narrative. This video in general goes against the narrative as well, that you could just be black and minding your business and get gunned down by the police. I think that we need to open our eyes and start being realistic, right, about these encounters, these deadly encounters with the police. And, cases where the victim is truly not guilty of anything and bad luck comes their way is like a 1 in a million thing. And trust me that there are more kids being killed as bystanders than innocent black people being killed by the cops. So let's remember that. Let's keep that in perspective. So instead of CNN showing the parts that really make sense, they're going to continue, down the road of basically trying to make it seem like none of this was George Floyd's fault. And like I said, now no one deserves to die, but we have to be realistic when we're looking at these clips and what's actually going on. And this clip in itself completely destroys the left's narrative that that George Floyd complied, that he indeed wasn't using fake bills. It destroys a lot of stuff. And what's even worse is that the Attorney General in Minnesota said that, you know, they didn't want to release the full body cam footage because of, you know, the case. Basically, they needed to make sure they could prosecute the case, to make sure they could do it appropriately, and that they didn't undermine that investigation. Now, the problem I have with that is a blatant lie. If America is getting torn apart, right, at some point you have to decide that, hey, we need to be transparent. He starts by saying transparency is of utmost importance, but no, it's not. Okay, you clearly hid this, and it had to be leaked before people could see it. And now that people can see it, they will start second guessing. And so I guess, what do you think is going to happen with this Black Lives Matter movement if it's built on false claims? That house of cards is eventually going to come toppling down, right? You can't, it's kind of like constantly lying, right? And then you have to remember which lies you told, and then you have to hope nothing comes up as a result of it, and eventually it catches up to you. And that's what's happening here. And even with the full body cam footage, CNN still chooses to show a type of angle that doesn't resonate with most people, as you can see on their video like-dislike ratio. But hey, this is what I'll say, people. Let's make sure we're sharing this video, liking this video, commenting on this video, okay? Because the mainstream media, you know, outside of Fox, right, is not going to do this any justice. They're going to continue pushing the narrative that's going to keep America in a divided stance, because they're depending on that to get Donald Trump out of office. I hate to have to tie this back into the election, but that's what this is all about. This is all about keeping America divided so that they can keep a strong voter bloc. Because again, Donald Trump is just too great of a president. He's doing too many positive things, and they can't stand that. So we have to get out in front of this, and let's just say, hey, we have the footage now. Okay, we know what actually occurred, and we need to just stop buying into that. Now, I'm be interested to see, for all of you CNN watchers, for all of you Black Lives Matter supporters, what do you think? I mean, what do you think? Because were you under the impression that George Floyd was some innocent person who wasn't on drugs, who wasn't using fake bills, who wasn't a lifetime criminal, who complied and did everything he was supposed to do? Look at the video. Look how much effort was put into trying to get the man out of the car, into the police car. You know, I'm going to say something that a lot of people don't want to hear. If the drugs hadn't killed George Floyd, had George Floyd simply complied, he'd be alive today, and America would be in a much better place. That's it. And so for all you people who want to put this 100% on the police and say that, you know, oh, it was training, it was this, it was that. If you guys can look at this body cam footage and come to that conclusion, then you're doing so through a very biased lens, and you need to understand that. But anyway, that was my take on the whole George Floyd body cam incident. It's no surprise. I figured it would have been something like this because, like I said, most cops are just not bad people. This leads me to believe that Floyd possibly died of respiratory failure, just like initially was concluded in the autopsy. And then, of course, the family hired independent autopsy, and they said he died of asphyxiation. But, you know, who knows, right? But yeah. Anyway, I'm gonna cut this one short. I don't want it to go too long. So yeah, you guys let me know what you think in the comment section down below. As always, make sure you comment, like, subscribe, share the video. Let's get this out here, because like I said, the mainstream media is not going to tell us the truth on this. And the only way that we get the word out is by sharing these videos. That's the most important thing you can do for the YouTube algorithm. Hit, like the video. It lets it know that, hey, this video is important and that people need to see it. All right, guys, that's going to be it for this one. You guys take care.